So, I gotta tell you, something really weird happened to me the other day. I still can't wrap my head around it. It's like straight out of a horror movie, but I swear on my grandpa's grave, it's all true. So, picture this. I'm cruising down the road just trying to get to Target to pick up some groceries. It's a normal day, nothing out of the ordinary. But then I see this figure on the side of the road. At first, I thought it was just some dude hitchhiking or something, but as I got closer, I realized it was my grandpa. Now, here's the thing. My grandpa passed away 3 years ago. I nearly swerved off the road when I saw him. He was just standing there, staring at me with this blank look in his eyes. I slammed on the brakes and pulled over, thinking maybe I was just seeing things. But when I looked again, he was still there. I got out of the car, my heart pounding in my chest. I called out to him, but he didn't respond. He just kept staring at me, like he didn't even recognize me. I tried to approach him, but something about the whole situation felt off. Like he was there, but he wasn't really there, you know? It's hard to explain, but it sent shivers down my spine. I mustered up the courage to get back in my car and drive away. I kept glancing in my rearview mirror, expecting him to disappear or something. But he just stood there, getting smaller and smaller as I drove further away. I finally made it to Target, but I couldn't shake the feeling of unease that had settled over me. I hurried through my shopping, constantly looking over my shoulder, half expecting to see my grandpa standing there in the aisles. But when I got back to my car and started driving home, that's when things got really strange. I couldn't shake this feeling like something was following me. Every time I glanced in the rearview mirror, I half expected to see my grandpa's ghost, sitting in the back seat, staring at me with those empty eyes. I tried to shake it off as my imagination running wild, but then I heard it. A voice, faint at first, but growing louder with each passing moment. It was my grandpa's voice, calling out to me from somewhere in the back of my mind. I tried to ignore it, to focus on the road ahead, but it was like he was right there in the car with me, whispering in my ear. I felt like I was going crazy. When I finally pulled into my driveway, I was shaking like a leaf. I practically ran inside, hoping to escape the feeling of dread that had settled over me. But when I walked into the living room, there he was, my grandpa, sitting in his favorite chair like he'd never left. I tried to talk to him, to make sense of what was happening, but he just stared at me with those same empty eyes. It was like he didn't even recognize me, like he'd forgotten who he was. I don't know what to make of it, but ever since that day, things haven't been the same. My grandpa still sits in that chair, day in and day out, but he's not the same person he used to be. It's like whatever I saw on the side of the road that day. It took something from him, something vital, something that made him who he was. I don't know if it was a ghost or some kind of hallucination, but one thing's for sure. I'll never forget the day I saw my grandpa standing on the side of the road, lost and alone, like a ghost searching for something it can never find.